Hi everyone, so we're back for my weekly dose on what to do if you are falling behind with your financial obligations. Now, the options that are typically available is a debt consolidation loan, debt mediation, and then debt counseling. Now, the first one is the most popular and most people go for this option if they can qualify for a loan. So a debt consolidation loan is where you're applying for a loan to consolidate your debt. Interest is attached, and what often happens in this case is people actually take on more debt while they're paying off this loan because they still have access to credit, and therefore the debt cycle just continues. The second option, which is called debt mediation, and why people like this option is because it's what they say is not called debt review, which means that whilst you're in debt review, you don't have access to credit. That's the big one for people. When you do debt mediation, you still have access to credit, which means that you have the ability to take on more debt, if so need be. So this is the thing with debt mediation. It is not a legal process, and typically it is only allowed for 3 to 6 months. So it's a very, very temporary process, and typically the person that does the mediation on your behalf, because it's very difficult for you as a consumer to do the negotiations yourself because the credit providers just don't get back to you. They have an influx of people that are not paying, so they're struggling to keep up with the demand. So now people go to somebody else to help them do it. Now the thing is, you're obviously having to pay that person for the service that they're providing, right? So the thing is, that is not a long-term solution. It's 3 to 6 months they'll buy you time, and then after that time you will have to pay your full installment again. Now often what happens in this case is that people, 3 to 6 months is just not long enough, and they end up being handed over to legal attorneys for collections, and then they get adverse references and they get blacklisted. The other thing that you have to be careful with is that these persons that does the negotiations on your behalf, they must be registered as an alternative dispute resolution agent. If they are not registered as an alternative dispute resolution agent, they are not allowed to do these negotiations on your behalf as per the NCR. So often also what happens is people have this negative experiences, and they call it debt review, but it's not debt review, it's debt mediation, where they've paid a month or 6 months, and then later on the credit provider still phones them to pay the full installments. And this is typically what happens within debt mediation. The other thing is that with debt mediation, it is not a legal and binding agreement with your credit providers, which is why the credit providers can change their minds after 3 to 6 months. And also they don't negotiate a lower interest rate for you, which means that instead of paying 1,000 Rand, for example, on one account, you're paying 500 Rand, but the interest that you are incurring is on the outstanding amount, which means that you're actually incurring more debt because you are now not paying your full installment, which means your interest calculated is higher than what it originally was. So please be very careful when it comes to debt mediation. Do your homework and understand the process before you sign anything. I had a couple of people that's come to me about this. I had a consumer that was about to sign. She changed her mind because actually it was not going to solve her problem. It was only going to make it worse 6 months down the line. So that is all I have time for now though. But if you have any questions, you are welcome to inbox me or WhatsApp me, and we can chat about what other options we have available. And then next week I'll touch on debt counseling. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to share and like my posts with your friends and family so everybody can learn. Have a good evening. Thank you.